Hey, good morning. Welcome to Really Rotten Real Estate Recollections with Crystal Roy. Listen to the end because I have a warning. This could also impact you, whether you're a buyer or a seller sometime in the future. But I was working with a buyer client and we were looking at a beautiful home in an upper level neighborhood, so it was not a starter home. When we went on the back deck, it was gorgeous. There was a really beautiful outdoor living area, which included a fridge and a sink and all kinds of things like that. So you could really set up shop there. But what I noticed was how it was designed made me suspicious because I knew it could not have passed building code inspections. So I asked Mr. Seller, who also happened to be a new home construction representative. He worked for the builder, and he was a licensed realtor, and he was selling his own home. He didn't have, it listed with anybody except with an MLS system with himself as the realtor. So my question to him was, after looking at the sink and everything up and down, under, I said, hey, did you pull a building permit for this? And he said, yes, I did. Okay, so in North Carolina, it is the listing agent's duty to discover and disclose. So he actually had dual roles. He was both the seller and the listing agent. But he did, in fact, pull a building permit. I went online and found that he pulled that building permit and he canceled it the same day. And I knew it would never have passed inspection. So he didn't go through the paces of doing the work and then having it inspected, because from his expertise and experience as a new construction specialist, he knew that that would not pass. But he also knew a good realtor is going to ask, did you pull a building permit? But a great realtor is going to see that it's closed out. And it was not closed out because there was no way that those exposed water pipes under the sink that are exposed to weather, so freezing temperatures, could potentially cause it to burst. Now, here's why this is important. Not only for the inconvenience of my buyer buying something, going through the winter, and then in the spring or summer when she wants to open up her outdoor kitchen, she might have a leak. But also, if she has a claim related to that, the insurance company is not going to pay it because there was no building permit that was completed and passed. And I've seen this come up as broker in charge of the real estate firm, where we had a seller who converted a garage to heated and cooled with all the electrical, plumbing, HVAC, drywall, before drywall, the insulation. But then when it came time for the appraiser to come out and do an appraisal, the before and after of the tax bill showed, heated living area, which was different from what he was experiencing in his personal inspection. So the appraiser asked, hey, where's the building permit? Where are the inspections? Where did it pass? And because the seller had not done any of that, two things happened. Number one, you cannot call this to be heated living area, even though you added 400, maybe 480 square feet to your house. So now instead of a buyer, quote unquote, buying, let's say a 1,500 square foot house, they're buying 1,000 square foot house, which is a huge, huge difference, okay? This is why square footage measurements are important, even though we get frustrated sometimes by the process or the system. But if you understand why people do things and why things are in place, it can help you understand. Because why things happen is more important than what they are that are happening. Here was how that seller who had enclosed and made the garage heated living area had to resolve his problem. He had to tear out all the drywall, and after the work was done, he had to pull building permits for HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, and go ahead and have inspections and get it to pass, and then put the insulation back in and rehang drywall, which means additional expenses and time spent. But we protected our buyer by making sure that the buyer was aware and that all of the different phases and stages of this construction were validly documented. So in case of a future insurance claim, the insurance company couldn't say, we're not going to cover that because it was not permitted, was not inspected, and did not pass. So whether you're a buyer looking to buy or you're a seller who's done something like that and is thinking of selling, I'm licensed in North and South Carolina. I'm going to be looking very closely at things like that. A savvy realtor will be looking at things like that. If you are a buyer who is talking to a for sale by owner person, legally, there's a document called the North Carolina or South Carolina or fill in the blank with your state property disclosure statement that should be completed by the seller, and a buyer should be reasonably able to rely on the seller's proclamations or declarations on that sheet. But if you see something that looks like work done, that doesn't look, so to speak, kosher, right? Or doesn't look like it was the original type of orientation configuration, then please do your deep dive. Have your realtor look into it to save yourself lots of hassle, lots of time. Now, what did my buyer ultimately do with that outdoor kitchen? I had her sign off that, I understand the situation and I'm buying this house anyway, and I will accept any future losses if I have to make an insurance claim with this specific item. So Crystal with the Safari Group, sharing some really rotten real estate recollections where the seller tried to get away with something that was illegal, potentially harmful, definitely immoral, and I think unethical. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.